What if the children aren't ghosts, but rendering errors in a failing machine? The tower, meant to project the future, is now casting old memories. The ruins, meant to archive the past, are broadcasting raw data into the present. The boy in white is just a worn-out bearing, trying to keep the axis from wobbling. We're exploring why the residents aren't just survivors. They are the involuntary editors of the next cycle. To break the loop, they don't need to kill a monster. They need to close the Pisces Curve. Fromville is an expansive, ancient emotional landscape that has experienced a significant system failure. Once upon a time, this intricate machine thrived on a flawless cosmic rhythm, the 7 planets. It didn't start with chaos, it began with harmony. 7 invisible pulses intertwined to hold the world together, much like 7 notes resonating beneath the surface of reality. 7 frequencies that kept everything in motion. As long as these frequencies danced in unison, the world spun smoothly. 7 children serving as essential oscillators. They provided the heartbeat, the 7 notes of a scale that kept reality in sync. However, a system in motion requires stabilization, and that's where the 12 parents came into play. Intended to be the framework, the gravity, they ended up tightening the gears too much. Rather than stabilizing the world, they overcomplicated the engine. When a system grows too intricate and begins to groan under its own weight, it naturally reverts. This is why Victor loved to hear "Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star." Violin version. When the grand cosmic symphony of the planets turns into white noise, the machine defaults to the simplest frequency it knows, a nursery rhyme. It serves as an emergency simplification, a lullaby designed to calm the oscillators and induce a dream state. If the machine can't operate in the awake realm of logic and progression, it nudges everyone into the sleep layer of myth and memory. The 12 stabilizers, meant to protect the system, pressed down harder than necessary. The motion slowed, not stopped, but constricted. Like a wheel bolted too firmly to its axle, it could no longer spin freely. The rhythm faltered, and the 7 pulses lost their synchronization. When a system becomes too complex to maintain itself, it simplifies, and a song emerges. Twinkle, twinkle, little star. A lullaby offers not just comfort, but also reduction. It's the simplest rhythm a frightened mind can follow. His mother played it during moments of chaos, and now he sings it in a graveyard of vehicles. When chaos peaks, the system reverts to its most basic pattern, a child's melody tracing a solitary star in the darkness. From planets to stars, from motion to memory, the current shifts. Pisces emerges. Not balance, not harmony, but dissolution. 2 fish swimming in opposite directions, tethered by a single cord. One current propels the past forward, while the other drags the future backward. They don't cancel each other out. Instead, they ensnare one another. In the space between them lies the town, caught in a whirlpool that never fully closes. Identity softens there. Time thickens. Dreams bleed into waking life. The past refuses to stay buried, it rises. The future doesn't unfold, it echoes. The town isn't moving forward or backward. It's circling within the incomplete curve of Pisces. When motion becomes unstable, something must anchor it. An anchor is not salvation, it's resistance. It halts drift at the expense of movement. Yet even a whirlpool requires a point of resistance to prevent it from spiraling into total chaos. That point was the anchor. For decades, that anchor was Martin, confined in the deepest, darkest ruins. Martin's body acted as a reservoir for all the unprocessed trauma and trash data from previous cycles. He was the heavy rusting bolt that prevented the flood of past experiences from overwhelming the town all at once. When Martin asked Boyd, "What if this is all a dream?" He wasn't being philosophical. He was expressing the sensation of being the only stationary object in a world where time has stagnated into a recursive nightmare. When Boyd took Martin's blood, it wasn't merely an infection, it was a transfer of function. The static anchor faded, and a mobile anchor emerged. The system recognized that a chained individual could no longer withstand the pressure of a failing machine. It needed an anchor that could move, breathe, and navigate the middle layer. Martin is a living weight at the system's bottom. All the unprocessed memories from prior cycles, all the fear, grief, and unfinished endings, sink to him. He holds them so they don't flood upward. He doesn't age correctly because he isn't progressing correctly. My blood is your blood now. The weight shifts. The anchor is no longer static. Once the anchor moves, the system loses its last fixed reference point. This brings us to the unsettling reality of the inverted world. In a healthy universe, the tower projects hope and the future, while the ruins archive the past. In Fromville, the wires have crossed. The tower is now a broken projector, casting old, distorted memories onto the screen of the future. The ruins are broadcasting raw data from previous cycles straight into the present. This is why the children appear as glitches. They aren't ghosts, but rendering errors. They embody the output of a machine that has failed to archive the trauma of 1978 or 1506 cleanly. They appear Anghkooey, pleading to be remembered, because the system requires a human touch to acknowledge and integrate that data before it can finally close the Pisces Curve and create a new, clear reality. The boy in white is the central bearing of this entire mechanism, but he is worn down. He's a shadow of his original function, which is why he can only guide and point, unable to correct the wobble that manifests as monsters and shifting trees. The machine is freezing because it has run out of ways to process the buildup of emotional heat. The snow isn't just weather. It's a thermal shutdown. Humans in the middle. The system isn't evil in a moral sense. It's simply a broken operating system that has lost its ability to compress its history. Every choice the residents make, every trauma they confront or overcome, is a line of code for the next version of the world. They're not just survivors and involuntary editors of the next cycle. To break the loop, they don't need to vanquish a monster. Above, a pale figure in white appears, not commanding, not intervening, merely guiding. A bearing that has grown thin. Bearings don't power machines, they facilitate rotation without friction. Once robust, now eroded, the axis still turns but does so with a wobble. That wobble manifests as children who should not yet exist. They chant a single word, remember.